Hello collectors, and welcome to my review of the Nendoroid Red. Red is quite the rare figure, being exclusive to Pokemon centers in Japan, and it was available on Amazon Japan for pre-order. With it immediately fetching high prices on the aftermarket, many are wondering if this chibi trainer is the very best. So let's take a look and see whether or not he's worth adding into your collection. Whether or not you're a fan of the Nendoroid style, you will, more than likely, find Red to look very, very nice. As usual, this Nendoroid managed to keep true to the prototype. Overall, the paint applications are pretty much clean. Of course, there are some quality control issues you will be able to pick up when examining this guy closely. And sadly, on mine, there's a big white streak on his back, which is very noticeable. Here's a nice look at Red's head, so you can see the relatively clean white paint on the hat and the astounding paint applications on the face, along with the amazing decals for the eyes. Moving down to Red's body, you can see there's very little paint slop. Now, there is extremely minor deviations which can be found at the base of the collar, so absolute perfectionists may be thrown off, but really, it's a non-issue. The legs are nice and, well, they're blue, and the shoes, despite being super small, have some pretty solid paint apps. There's no red or white out of place that I can see. Here's a look at Red's back where you can clearly see the white mark I was talking about, and the black paint along the bottom of Red's shirt isn't entirely clean. As you can see, there's some random black streaks here and there, but realistically speaking, if I want to clean it up with some red paint on my own, I can do it no problem. So, aside from the small quality control issues with the paint, I gotta say Red looks wonderful. They did a really nice job on the final product. Nendoroids typically aren't known for their articulation, so if that's why you wanted to pick Red up, actually you might be pleasantly surprised. So to begin with Red's articulation, his neck is on a ball hinge or double swivel combo, depending on how you like to look at things, and it rocks back and forth like so. Not too much range because, well, the collar on Red's shirt does block the articulation just a bit, and then you can get it to swivel around like this too. So it effectively works like a ball joint, but it's not a ball joint. Then we have the shoulders, which are swivels. As you can see here, they move pretty nice. And then you have bicep swivel. As you can see here, it's on both of them. And then wrist swivels, so you can spin the hand around. Now, Red comes with a ton of different parts for the arms, different forearms and different hands, and all of the different option parts for the arms feature the same articulation. Moving down on the body, there is a waist swivel, but it kind of doesn't work too well because Red's sculpt is meant to line up, as you can see here. So you're going to eventually just pop Red apart if you keep twisting and turning. And then the hips, or thighs, however you want to look at things, feature the same sort of joint which is found in Red's neck. So you can spin the legs around, like so, and you can put them in quite a few different poses, which is pretty nice. Admittedly, the only reason the articulation is there is due to the wide array of option parts available to Red. It's nice to see he has quite a bit of movement to him. Red comes with a ton of accessories. Whoa, that is probably the #1 selling point of Red. But first things first, I just want to take care of the standard Nendoroid accessories Red comes with. So first things first, this stand. You get this square base, and you get this arm piece here. And to use it, it's pretty simple. You just find a hole on the base, and you plug in this part here. Now note that the part which goes into Red, on his back, the actual plug is removable, so just be careful there. And all I gotta do, plug it into his back. Now, take note, this arm is different than the standard Nendoroid support arm. The bottom part, which plugs into the base, is just ever so thicker than other arms, and as you can see here, it's a translucent plastic, but it's not clear like the typical Nendoroid support arm. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind. And then next up, you also get a replacement neck joint should you accidentally break the neck joint that is currently installed in Red. Red also comes with different expression parts. You get this sort of shouting, angry-ish face, and you get this very happy face. And as you can see, both of them feature amazing paint, and the eye decals are wonderful, and swapping out faces is super easy to do with Red. All you have to do is grab the front of Red's hat, like so, and just pull it off. Then grab the currently attached faceplate, slide that off, and then take your new faceplate and line it up with the neck joint down here, and slide it in, like so. Take the front of the hat, and pop it back on. And there you go. Now Red is smiling. You also get this bent leg part. Yeah, just one of them. I'm not sure why they only chose one of them, but anyway, swapping it out is really, really easy to do. Just grab one of the currently attached legs on Red, pull it off, and then slide the new leg on, and now you can have Red walking, running, or whatever you would like him to do. Now, this leg is interchangeable with both the left and the right part, so the different display options are pretty endless with this. Next up, the bag. And as you can see here, the paint is pretty nice, though you can definitely see some blotchy paint here for this part right here, which is, I guess that's life. And then turning it around, you can see the Versus Seeker, which looks stunning. And when you look at some of the smaller accessories which have amazing, crisp, clean paint apps, you kind of wonder how the rest of Red kind of had just, even if it's tiny, paint where it shouldn't be. But anyway, attaching this, it's rather easy to do. But there are a few steps involved. First, you need to remove Red's head, like so. And then on the bag, you have to pop the strap part off, and then put it over Red's shoulders, like so. And then the hole where you would plug the Nendoroid stand in, you then plug the bag, and then you reattach Red's head. And now he's wearing the bag. And as you can see, there is a hole in the bag where the Nendoroid support arm easily plugs in. You just got to work it just a teeny tiny bit, but there you go. Now you can display Red going on an adventure. As I made mention earlier in the review, Red comes with a ton of different hand and arm option parts, and they can all be interchanged. I mean, right here, as you can see, the wrist can be popped out of this arm, and you can swap it in with another part, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go over all of them as they are given to you in the box, just so this way there's no confusion for you. So first up is this right arm part, which comes with a hand, which is holding a Pokédex. And as you can see here, the paint application and the decals on this thing are awesome. You can see a screen reflection right there on the Pokédex. The Pokéball up here looks awesome. The buttons to the side is simply kick-ass. I really love the small little accessories like this. Next up for the right arm, you get one where the shoulder is pointing pretty much off to the side of Red, and the arm is bent, and you get this little peg here in the hand, so this way he can hold a Pokéball. And for the right arm, you also get this hand, which has Red pointing, which is pretty cool. For the left arm, you get this arm, which is bent, and you get one where he's just holding his hand upright, and there is a little peg there, so this way he can support the Pokéball. And then finally, you get this arm part, which is interchangeable for both the left and the right, where Red is putting his hand into his pockets. And swapping out the hand parts and the arm parts is super, super simple to do. For most of the arm parts, you just have to pull the arm off of Red at the bicep, and just pop the new arm part in, like so. Do this for both left and right to show you. And now, it looks like Red just found a new Pokemon out on his adventure. But of course, what's missing in that left hand? A Pokeball. And Red does come with a Pokeball. As you can see here, the little, I guess that would be a button, is sort of off-center, but that's okay. As you can see, the Red's nice. The black line going around it where it would open is a little bit sloppy, but I mean, it's okay. It's super small, and you're not really going to notice unless you're actually looking for it. And as you can see, there's a hole on the back of the ball and at the bottom of the ball, so this way you can plug them into the different hand parts Red comes with. But this isn't the only ball you get with Red. You also get the Master Ball. As you can see here, the M looks nice. Again, that little button is slightly off-centered. And yeah, once again, that little black band going around the ball is a little bit sloppy, but again, it's not that big of an issue. And you also have the two holes on the ball to plug into the hand, and doing that is really easy. To attach a Pokeball, all you have to do is just get one of the hands, which comes with the little peg on it to hold the Pokeball, and then choosing a hole at either the back of the ball or the bottom of the ball. You just got to work it on to that little peg, like so. It can be a little bit frustrating. Just make sure not to force it in a direction you don't want it to go in so you don't break it. And there you go. It looks like Red is ready to celebrate. But if he's going to celebrate, he needs some partners. And what wonderful partners Red comes with. Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. The three original starters. Here's a close look at Bulbasaur where you can see all of the blue and green paint on it is awesome. And the decals for the eyes are nice. They catch light very well, they're reflective, and there are really no issues with Bulbasaur at all. Up next is the fan favorite Charmander. And as you can see, once again, all of the paint is very, very nicely done. You can see some awesome shading here for the fire on the tip of the tail. Just a few mold lines here on the back of the tail, but it's not really an issue. And the decals for the eyes are pretty sweet. And last but most certainly not least, we have Squirtle here. Again, the fantastic paint application is still kept up for this little guy. The decals for the eyes look sweet. You can see the little black marks for the nose and the eyebrows, and that definite smug look on his face. It's pretty awesome. And you know what? Overall, looking at the quality of these three, it kind of makes you wonder how Bandai was able to get away with the rather lackluster Mew first production bonus with Mewtwo. But anyway, these all look great with Red and the D-Arts Pokemon from Tamashii Nations. Here's Bulbasaur alongside Venusaur. Here's Blastoise with Squirtle. Here's Charmander with Charizard. Just as a fun, quick size comparison, here are the starters with the first production run bonus Mew, which comes with the D-Arts Mewtwo. And finally, here is Red with all of his starter buddies. So as you can see, wow, this is one hell of a package here. If you're worried about the accessories or the quality of the accessories you get with Red, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Everything is nicely done here, and honestly, the starters are what swayed me to pick this guy up. So if the accessories can sell me on a figure, that definitely has to stand for something. If you already have some other Nendoroids in your collection, you pretty much know how big Red is. But if you don't, here's a quick size comparison for you. Here's Red alongside some other Nintendo Nendoroids. Here he is alongside some Nintendo Figmas. Here's Red alongside Goku and Piccolo from the SH Figuarts line. And finally, what many of you have been waiting to see, Red alongside some of the Pokemon figures from Tamashii Nations. So as you can see, Red is definitely on the smaller side, but realistically speaking, you can definitely sneak him into any of your Pokemon displays. So, should you buy Red now, skip him, or try your best to find a deal? Red sculpt is nice. This stylized representation is great, but there are some small paint application issues which may throw off some perfectionists. Surprisingly, though this Nendoroid does use the body type which really doesn't have that much articulation to it, this one does have some awesome articulation, even if it is a byproduct of option parts. But still, it makes Red just that much better. Accessories are simply amazing and worth the price of admission. Overall, Red is a very, very nice package. I haven't appreciated a figure this much in a long time, and I am so happy to have him in my collection finally. However, I do not think he is worth the horrific aftermarket price of north of $120, so try to get him as cheap as you possibly can.